Welcome, everybody. Welcome to the May 13th Oakland Mayor and Council meeting. Before we begin, just look at your cell phones and make sure they're off or on vibrate. And also, please refrain from texting because it is disruptive, discourteous, and could be construed as a violation of the Open Public Meetings Act. At this time, roll call.
Mayor Schwager?
Here.
Councilman Bialy?
Here.
Councilman Knapp?
Here.
Councilman Kamala?
Here.
Councilman Levy?
Yes.
Councilman Pimentelli?
Here.
Councilman Talamini?
Here.
All right, please stand, salute to the flag, and remain standing for a moment of silence. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Be seated. This meeting is being held in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Law, duly announced, advertised, and posted in the municipal building. And to start with my mayor's report, we have a very active green team and a very active, well, it's a Sustainable New Jersey team. And they are working with the Environmental Commission, helping with the environment, and encouraging everybody to recycle, make the world, make the country, the planet a better place, a greener place to live. And they have quite a few activities going on. There will be a styrofoam collection drive in Wyckoff on April 13th. That's styrofoam and plastic bag collection. In Oakland will be on April 28th from 11 to 2 in the Oakland Borough Hall. If you want further details on the recycling of your styrofoam and plastic, contact the Green Team, Sustainable New Jersey, or the Environmental Commission, which can be found on the website. If you missed the two dates, April 13th in Wyckoff or April 28th in Oakland, in Ridgewood, it will be on May 18th, and in Leonia on June 8th. And there's also, they are sponsoring a crayon, I just had it, a crayon recycling. And they have a list of places, and I just had it, and I just don't know where to put it, the flyer. But there's a crayon recycling and marker recycling. So you can recycle crayons and markers if you choose not to throw them away. You can recycle them at Borough Hall, the 3 elementary schools, North Jersey, dentistry, and in my office. I said I would do it. So if you have a whole bunch of crayons and you want to recycle them, bring it to my law office and we'll just put them in a box for the Green Team. Upcoming events. This Saturday evening, March 16th, is the Oakland Education Foundation's biggest fundraiser. That's casino night, excuse me, at the Preakness Hill Country Club. Then on Saturday, March 23rd, what's called a Promise of Hope event at Indian Hills High School. This is sponsored by the Oakland Franklin Lakes Rotary Club and the Indian Hills High School Interact Club. And what it is, they purchase food from a vendor, and the vendor comes with food and cartons and wrap, and there'll be tables set up all over Indian Hills, and you're packaging food for needy families, and it will help for hungry people. So that's on March 23rd on Saturday, all day. If you get a chance, run up to Indian Hills, help out, or just watch and see how many people from Oakland have come out to help feed the hungry. Then on Sunday, March 24th, is the annual Oakland Volunteer Fire Department Ladies Auxiliaries annual pancake breakfast starting at 8:30 and it goes to noon. It's at the Yorpo Avenue Firehouse. The Easter egg hunt, the fabulous Easter egg hunt, and I know Councilman Talamini will talk about it because it sounds like it's going to be really exciting this year. Even, each year it gets bigger and better. Bigger. And this year it's on Saturday, April 13th at 10 a.m. Actually, the festivities begin at 9:30. The rain date is Sunday, April 14th, and it's behind the library. Oh? Oh.
We're just marveling at Councilman
Pignatelli's prowess with the iPad.
Oh, okay. There is a joint venture between the Flow Environmental Commissions and Green Teams, that's Oakland, Franklin Lakes, and Wyckoff. They are co-sponsoring the 6th annual Flow Green Film Series. And it will be at both the Oakland Library and the Wyckoff Public Library. They're free movies, open to the public, and the panel discussions to follow each film and refreshments available. Again, any questions, go on the website for the Oakland Environmental Commission or the Oakland Green Team. So save the dates for the following dates where there is going to be free films. Thursday, March 14th at 7 p.m. in Wyckoff Library. Friday, March 22nd at 7 p.m., the Oakland Public Library. Thursday, March 28th, 7 p.m. at the Wyckoff Public Library. And Thursday, April 4th, 7 p.m. at the Wyckoff Public Library. And I know there's something going on at the firehouse, and there's a flyer, the Cornhole First Responders on Sunday, March 31st. But I thought that will be brought up because they are wanting to do there's a raffle that day, so we'll bring it up then. So that's all I have for now. And at this time, we have minutes from the February 27th council meeting.
So moved. Second.
Any discussion? If not, roll call.
Councilman Bialy.
Yes.
Councilman Knapp.
Yes.
Councilman Kamala.
Yes.
Councilman Levy.
Yes.
Councilman Pignatelli.
Yes.
Councilman Talamini.
Yes.
Mayor, you missed the public.
Mr. Public open.
Oh, yeah, before, all right, so I'll finish the minute. I knew there was something was missing. Oh, and I see public here. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. All right, we'll finish the executive minutes of February 27th.
So moved.
Everyone, wait, let me finish my speech. Everyone has the minutes, and if there's going to be any discussion, it has to be done during executive. Now, for a
So moved.
motion,
Second.
is there going to be any discussion?
No.
Good. Roll call.
Councilman Bialy.
Yes.
Councilman Knapp.
Yes.
Councilman Kamala.
Yes.
Councilman Levy.
Yes.
Councilman Pignatelli.
Yes.
Councilman Talamini.
Yes.
Now, is there a motion to open to the public?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We have public. All right, you have to come to the podium because the microphone's in the ceiling, and you have to give your name and your address.
My name is Klaus Engelmüller, 24 Lakeview Terrace.
Hi.
Norway. Good evening, Mayor and Council. I am acting president of the Oakland Historical Society, Incorporated, and I'm here tonight because of your request, Your Honor, which you made the last meeting. The things concerning the Van Allen House, which was said at the last meeting, need to be addressed. You may not like what you hear from me tonight, but you will hear my honest opinion based on my own experience and my observations. It was said that time and again, the borough wanted to speak to us discussing matters and that we never responded. I'm not aware of any such requests. It was rather, unfortunately, the other way around, being studiously ignored and kept in the dark about plans and intentions of the borough. If we got any information, it was by pure chance and from the third party. The Historical Society has never been taken seriously, and rather considered to be a bunch of crackpots and labeled with derogatory nicknames. I cannot imagine that any of the members of the Historical Society have offended anyone of the borough government. So I can only conclude that the borough would rather see the historical site disappear, and all the assurances to the contrary may be considered insincere lip service. The borough decided to launch the restoration work under the auspices of Margaret Hickey and her team of historical experts, as well as the Ramapo Conservancy. It occurred to nobody that the society could very well have been included in the primary research. That this wasn't done must be on account of intellectual snobbery. For what contribution could a bunch of crackpots possibly make? All we received was a copy of the report after it was already done. Let it be said that aside from over 20 years of exploring the Van Allen House and taking several courses in historical preservation at Drew University, that my wife and I gathered valuable knowledge which could have been helpful and quite possibly money-saving. I find that the firm of Mrs. Hickey has done a job unequal to their compensation, and the head of the Vanderbilt Conservancy has only excelled in incompetence. Among other data, we have learned that emergency repairs of historical structures, any modern materials and methods may be used to protect the structure from further damage, as long as the process is reversible. I'm referring to the website of the Secretary of the Interior about the rules of historical preservation. I have a copy here which I will give you.
Thank you.
Thus, I have several times suggested to cover the roof of the Van Allen house with inexpensive 5-year asphalt shingles, which would have given us a much longer time for preparation and better protection. Every time my suggestions were answered with howls of protest. How sad. At
So
the
what did you say?
Historical
Could you
Society-
repeat that?
How-
Could you just repeat that? I didn't hear what you said.
I said every time, okay.
I'm sorry.
It's all right. Every time my suggestions were answered with howls of protest.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
How sad. Had the Historical Society been paid attention to, the roof problem could have been taken care of a long time ago with much lower expenditure and tax dollars and with a lot less damage being done on the inside of the house. Mrs. Hickey found that there had been 2 dormers on the 2nd floor of the main building, as can be seen on photographs taken some 80 years ago. These dormers were added by Edward Page in the first decade of the 20th century, as well as a sweeping Dutch roof, because Mr. Page liked the style and had the money to have it done. At the prior re-roofing in the 1960s, the dormers were dismantled and the roof was re-shingled without them because research had determined that they were originally not been there. When Mrs. Hickey recommended the more costly option, I questioned whether she was aware of what had been done in the 1960s. In 1966, the borough purchased the Van Allen house and the Weigeberg farm office, storage building off a short stream house, and as owner assumed the stewardship for the property, the repair, maintenance obligations, and so forth. The lackadaisical performance of that stewardship has led to the deterioration of the stream house to a point where it has essentially been destroyed. The Van Allen house will not fare any better if the borough is not to be disturbed in its complacency. It is incomprehensible. Any homeowner would immediately see to it that his roof gets repaired ASAP when he or her would see water dropping from the ceiling on a rainy day. He would not wait for years. The Vanderbilt Conservancy fiasco has brought us one good result, or I should say, half a good result. Half of the defunct roof is repaired. One wonders, half? The other half was just as defunct as the first half. Maybe it was hoped that the rain will fall only on the repaired part of the roof, or maybe it would rain money to continue the work. Because the borough received several public grant money, another aspect of the stewardship is keeping the site open for the public to visit. This duty falls squarely in the lap of the borough. Maybe the borough has not realized that it has that obligation because the Historical Society has taken care of that task, voluntarily and without compensation. Society has rendered that service for 42 years, and we are willing to continue, but we implore you, stop putting roadblocks in the way, or society may have to discontinue the service. This would put the chore in the hands back in the borough, and I suspect that the county would take a very dim look at discontinuation of the open house days. It is now 3 years that the old part of the roof has been allowed to keep deteriorating at a daily rate. Inquiries by the Historic Society as to what would be done were fought off with vague promises, followed by no action. When Councilman Kumala recently agreed to inspect the damage, his report to Mayor and Council at last produced action. The roof was covered with a black tarp. We had asked for a tarp in vain 3 years ago. The mayor was full of praise for all involved, especially DPW, who did the work, and all seemed relieved and reasonably pleased. The installation of the tarp was a long overdue answer to a real emergency. The Historical Society would like to thank Councilman Koala for his efforts. In conclusion, it is a great start, and I hope we will be able to travel further on this path. Just one more caveat. The tarp is only good for 1 year. And after the roof has taken care of, there are additional repair works that needs to be done inside the house. Respectfully yours, that's it. And I will hand you a copy of what I just said.
Mr. Heingen,
And
you said several times in your report that the Historic Society conveyed suggestions to somebody, but you never said who.
well, various people, if I met a council person, I would talk to him, or even the mayor.
I have
I
not,
talked to, and if you want a name, I talked to, what's this, our town administrator about putting a tarp on the roof, which he flat refused. You remember that? Paul?
No, actually, I don't. I don't remember any conversation that we ever had.
We were in your office, sir.
No, sorry, I don't remember that.
as far as reaching out, and you know who we're referring to, I did want to meet with the Historic Society. I don't even know who is the Historic Society. The only person I know that's in the Historic Society, you and your wife.
There's
don't-
another member.
Well, hello,
our
member.
Secretary.
And I had asked her, your wife, if she could arrange for us to meet and sit down and talk. That is exactly what happened. Since then, nothing. So
Okay,
until
then-
you come here tonight, which is great, and I'm excited that you did come. And so I offered to you for us to set a date. Let's sit down. I will sit down with the Historic Society, the members, not just you and another member, but the Historic Society. I'd like to meet them, hear from everybody, and we'll have our administrator, and we'll have Councilman Bialy, who's the historic liaison to the council, and let's sit down and put our minds together. The last I heard about the Historic Society was the agreements, or the lack of agreements, I think you were working with it, Brian, between the Ramapo Conservancy and the Historic Society, and the arguments going back and forth. Since then, Ramapo Conservancy is gone.
Oh, yeah.
I think your agreement with the borough, is that correct, Mr. Kearns? You had told me that the Historic Society had agreement as a stewardship is
Yeah, and there was,
expired.
we found an ordinance and that expired
So we
a
have
number of
to,
years ago.
that's what I'm saying, we have to sit down, everybody in one room, let's get all the facts straightened out and figure out where we go. It's done, whatever happened, it's done.
Yes, okay, we
So
just
let's
have
go
to
forward.
remind you of the background of this.
Well,
all
let's
this.
go, now let's go
Okay.
forward.
Right.
Speak to your membership, come up with some dates, we'll plan a time when we could sit down and figure out what we're going to do together.
Okay, if I may,
Sure,
the
Please.
stewardship is yours, it's not ours. You
Well-
own the house.
right, but I was told there was an agreement.
No, the agreement we may have is that we are doing the open houses and show the house to the public, and we have that school program for all the
Correct.
elementary schools in town every year in November. And we will, like I said, we will continue that. But other than that, we really don't have any obligation. We don't even have a lease. We used to have a lease, but then when the Ramapo Conservancy came in, it was just all blown.
Don't we must have some paperwork at the borough.
We don't
We
have.
do,
There was an
Well,
old agreement.
yeah.
Mr.
Let's
Heingen,
sit down together and go, as of now, go forward. The past is past, you're saying one thing, I heard a different story, we heard a third story, there's a fourth person involved. Let's talk to your membership, come up with a time, some dates where we could all sit down, the three, and go forward. How's that?
Okay,
Mr.
yes,
Angermund,
great.
does the Historic Society meet on a regular basis, like the fourth Monday or the third Tuesday?
Well, we have open houses every third Sunday of the month, except, what's it, in the summer?
No, I mean, do you have a regular meeting every
We
month?
do have, after that, after the house is closed to the public, we have, when we have meetings.
So in other words, you only have a meeting once a quarter,
No, once a month.
once a month?
Because now we don't have access to the house because the locks have been changed. And apparently, we cannot even go in and get our own
We were
personal stuff
told
out.
that there, Mr. Kunz will speak, we were told there was a hazard.
Safety hazard, right?
Right, and there's a
Oh,
mold
it's no
condition in the
safety
house
hazard.
right now.
The mold.
And until
Okay,
that's remediated, we
mold
can't have
is-
anybody in the
mold
house.
is not good to have in the house, you're right.
Right.
But it's not anything that will hurt you if you go in there for 10 minutes and get your stuff out. But just putting a new lock on them, I find that without
Well,
even saying
again, that
anything.
notice was provided about us doing that, and I've heard nothing from anybody in response to that notification. If you want to, if there are personal items in there that you need to get out, I'm sure we can make those arrangements. But,
Okay.
but for the most part, no, we can't have people in the structure until the mold condition is addressed.
No, okay, fine.
So we're going to be moving forward now. He said, she said, passed. Let's stop right now. We're going to move forward. So speak to your membership, come up with some dates when everybody's available, and we'll meet probably at Borough Hall, since it probably is not a good idea to meet at the Van Allen House. But
No,
we will-
not at
no,
this point.
Exactly.
Not unless you get the
No.
mold out of there.
No, so if you could please talk to your membership, and we'll figure out a time when we can meet.
Since we're at it, is anything done about the mold?
Rich,
Rich?
you want me to pick up on that?
Yeah.
We've reached out to a company that is willing to go into the building and do a complete assessment and report on what needs to be done, because you just can't give it to a company that does remediation, because they will take the whole place apart. So we're gonna
Okay.
take an expert in the field to create a report and give it, that report to a company that will take over and remediate all the mold.
I just hope it doesn't take too long, because in the meantime.
No, it's
we
in
cannot
process
do
right now.
Mm-hmm. That's why we're going to, as soon as possible, please speak to your membership. Come up with some dates, and we will accommodate and figure out when we can meet.
Okay.
We'll discuss everything. Meantime, Richard at Borough Hall will look for any old documents we have, the files we have with Michael. Now we have Michael, who's helping him, and we'll move forward.
All right, very good. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you for coming.
and
I
would
thank
like
you, and thank you for
to
that.
have this.
I appreciate that, thank you.
Excuse me, Mayor,
Yes,
might it not be a good idea to speak with maybe the health office before we let anybody in that building?
we're not
It's
meeting
black
in
mold.
Ben Allen House.
Well, even to let them go in and get stuff, just to make sure that it is in fact safe.
Well, that's what I said, we're gonna meet and figure out everything.
But we ought to talk to a health
No,
professional. make sure that
we're
that
not,
is-
right, yes, they're not just going in. We don't want anybody getting sick. Do you wanna speak also?
No, I was just here with him to support, and we can discuss it afterwards.
Okay, thank you. Do you wanna speak?
Me?
Yes? No? He
About
doesn't
what?
wanna speak. Okay, anybody else? If not, motion,
So moved.
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Originally on the agenda was the recreation budget, but that's not on. That's off. Okay, tonight, I've been asked to appoint an alternate to the Great Oak Park Committee, and you all have a copy of Peter Kikot's citizen leadership form. So I'm told the mayor's appointment, so I appoint Peter Kikot as an alternate member of Great Oak Park. Thank you for volunteering, and welcome to the Park Committee. Okay, so now we have some raffles. Raffle license 1352, Oakland Franklin Lakes Rotary Club. Portobello baskets on June 25th, I'm sorry, Portobello banquets on June 25th, 2019. It's a 50-50, 50% of the cash proceeds, Gift of Life Surgery, children, local scholarships, support food banks, and veterans organizations.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Raffle license RL 1353 Rampel Bergen Animal Refuge, Inc., to be held at 2 Shelter Lane. It's a raffle October 20th, 2019. First prize, $1,500 gift certificate. Second prize, $1,000 gift certificate. Third prize, a $500 gift certificate. Fourth prize, a $250 gift certificate. And proceeds to be used for the maintenance of the animal shelter, veterinary fees, food, and shelter for the animals.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Raffle license 1354 for the Oakland Volunteer Fire Department, to be held a raffle on March 31st, 2019. 6 gift baskets valued between $25 and $40 from 11 to 8 p.m. to support programs and community outreach of the Oakland Volunteer Fire Department Association.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? And the next one is to approve a social affairs permit for the Oakland Volunteer Fire Department to hold a cornhole tournament on March 31st at the York Hill Fire Department. And do you want to say something, Councilman Knapp? Because I asked him what this was. What is a cornhole tournament?
So cornhole is a strange name, to say the least, but it's basically horseshoes with sandbags, and you throw it at the board with the hole in it, and it's a fundraiser for the fire.
Yes, here's the
May I
flyer.
interrupt? It's because originally, when the game was, you had old
Correct.
corn husk, like holes, that you would toss in through the hole.
Oh,
So
That's
this
thank
is
you.
why we
have a historical
This is the
society.
flyer. You can see it on camera. That's exactly why we need
That's
the
where the
Historical
name comes
Society.
from.
Yep, thank
But
you.
it's hard to say.
But it's strange.
Yeah, I understand.
Cornhole tournament. So that's to help the fire departments. Their motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, resolutions. If you want any pulled out after I read them, let me know, and we will pull them out. Resolution 19101 is to authorize, and all of these have been discussed already, and now it's in resolution form. Authorize agreement for the alternate public defender, that's 19101, and it will be Jason T. Caminos for the alternate public defender, contract not to exceed $2,100. 19102, approve the donation of a vehicle to the Oakland First Aid Squad. It is a 2012 Chevrolet Tahoe, identified as a police department vehicle number 106, which is no longer in service, and this is to be, it was requested and will be donated to the squad. 19103 is authorized refund of recreation fees, recreation basketball fees in the amount of $241, to Janice Rocco, $171, Sandra Schaefer, $70. 19104, authorized refund from the tax court judgment, block 2301, lot 14, in the matter of Thornell Likas versus the Borough of Oakland, and it is the amount reducing the assessment of said block and lot from to $245,000 for the tax year 2018, and a refund of property taxes of $1,119.04. 19105, amend resolution 1975, and the amount to be refunded on this resolution is for block 802, lot 25, to Sergey and Alla Katov, $5,130.12. The original resolution was incorrect, so we're amending the resolution. 19106 is a resolution amendment to a developer's agreement and a development by Bill Smith Jr. It's an incorrect lot and lot designation, so it's lot 3311, lot 2.02, and the correct block is 3703, lot 89. So it's another amended resolution. 19107 is to return escrow fees to Thomas A. and Mary Huban, and it's $148. 19108 is appoint a temporary fire subcode official, and the construction official, Dan Hagbert, has recommended Tom Dillon as the temporary position, and at an annualized stipend at $5,500 effective March 4th, 2019. 19101, 19109, I'm reading the wrong things tonight. Appoint temporary CCO inspector. And our CCO inspector's on medical leave, and so we need a temporary. Dan Hagberg, our construction official, has recommended Robert Westdyke at an annualized stipend of $12,000 effective March 11, 2019. Resolution 19110, cancel capital balances, and there remain balances for dedicated projects which have been completed. Balances are no longer necessary, so there's a transfer of $35,000. 19111, temporary budget amendment. An emergency condition has arisen to make payments for operating expenses prior to the adoption of the budget. The statute provides for the creation of an emergency temporary appropriation, and 26.25% of the total appropriations in the 2018 current fund budget, exclusive of any appropriations made for interest and debt redemption charges, assistant is $4,515,902.98. And so the capital expenditure, an emergency temporary appropriation is the $35,000. Do you wish to pull any out? If not, motion?
So moved.
Second? Roll call.
Councilman Bialy.
Yes.
Councilman Knapp.
Yes.
Councilman Kamala.
Yes.
Councilman Levy.
Yes.
Councilman Pinutelli.
Yes.
Councilman Talamini.
Yes.
We have a final adoption of ordinance 19 Code 780 to amend the salary ordinance. We have discussed this for a very long time, many meetings, and now I'm asking for a motion to open to the public.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Does anyone wish to speak on ordinance 19 Code 780, annual salary ordinance? Seeing none, is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So now I need a motion to approve 19 Code 780 amends the Borough of Oakland ordinance 19 Code 780 to amend the salary ordinance.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilman Bialy.
Yes.
Councilman Knapp.
Yes.
Councilman Kamala.
Yes.
Councilman Levy.
Yes.
Councilman Pinutelli.
Yes.
Councilman Talamini.
Yes.
And now we have work session items. Borough calendar. Michael, you're on.
Yes, thank you, Mayor and Council, for having me tonight. I am
You're
here.
very welcome. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you. I am here to present the idea of a borough calendar tonight for the year 2020 for the borough. I think it's a very crucial document that puts all town information in one spot for everyone. It would be mailed to every single resident and business in town, free of charge. We would fund the calendar through advertisers, through local businesses only, to promote local business. The calendar would feature every borough department, commission, committee, police, fire, first aid, whatever it is, it would feature everything in the calendar. And from firsthand experience, I think residents would really appreciate it.
And it has the garbage pickup, and
it
it
would
has the
have
recycling
everything,
pickup
yes.
schedule.
Yeah, we had this in Lincoln Park.
Yes.
Very popular.
We have Pat's recycling app.
Did my husband put it on? Thank you. He listened to you.
Yeah, it's very good.
So a lot of other towns surrounding here have a borough calendar. In front of you tonight, I have the borough of Riverdale's and Pompton Lakes. They're fairly similar, just the size is a little different. But essentially, I'm here tonight to get your blessing to move forward with the calendar. You may ask why I'm here in March. It does take a few months to make and create and go out to each organization, find out dates, and make sure information is correct. So I would essentially need all summer to work through that. But like I said, I'm here tonight to get feedback, any questions, and we'll go from there. So thank you very much.
No, thank you.
How much time is this going to take of your time?
It's not a daily time-consuming task. It's just a matter of designing it, meeting with department heads to make sure we include all the information that residents would, appreciate. And, and then during the summer, I would reach out to all the local businesses. And then as we move into the fall, I would have to gather dates to put on the calendar, because dates aren't available now, they're gonna be towards the end of the year, so it's
So-
kind
so
of
you're
a
gonna-
rolling process.
Well, in the summer, we have an intern program that I started for high school juniors going to the senior year. And Mr. Kunz is always saying, well, what am I gonna do with them? You know, do I work for them? Well, guess what? That's what
Absolutely.
hit me immediately, so we have to send out the form to both the high schools, both Indian Hills and Ramapo, and if you know of any juniors that are looking for a summer internship. We started this, we have met some really great students who have gotten into great colleges from this experience, and may set their mind that they want to go into municipal government. So it will go to the guidance offices of the high schools, yes.
So you put the information in, Michael, and each day,
Yes,
you're gonna have to do that?
yes. With the assistance of the Communications Commission, they offered to help as well, so
And you'll
that's
have
great.
interns working
Yes.
with you, who are very good on computers, high school.
So one of the things when you know, we were defining the position and what we wanted to get out of it, one of those things was an ability within the office to enhance communications with the public. This is certainly an element of that is a proven avenue in other communities. I think it would be very successful here. If you've noticed, we have an enhanced presence, I think a better presence now on Facebook. Now that Michael's running that, nothing against what we were doing before, but you know, we were kind of time limited a little bit with that. So Michael's been able to really upgrade that. He's really kind of taken over managing the website, and we have some projects that are going to be in the works with that as well. So this is just one element of it, but I think as Michael alluded to, there's just a very long lead time on this to get it out on time.
So the calendar would be for 2020?
Yeah.
So do you want our opinion about size at this point or not yet?
Just
I like the big
Yeah.
one, you get more advertisers.
Okay.
Yeah.
I
I mean, the
agree.
big, people are gonna be more apt to advertise.
Please, we have
the big
some
ones.
input down here, yeah.
I just want to say that Michael had presented this to the OCC about a month ago, and the commission itself was very much in support of moving this calendar forward, because it certainly does enhance all the ways that we're trying to reach out to the public and get as much information as we can. As the borough administrator stated, you know, we got our Facebook, we got our Twitter, we got our public access. Now we got the calendar, the newsletter's going up, so I mean, this is all just building into a crescendo of just pushing as much information as we can get out. And Michael, this is a wonderful idea, thank you.
Yes. So remind Mr. Kunz to get those applications to the schools for our summer intern program.
I'm gonna have Mike do it.
Oh, Mike could do it, that's right.
And no,
Hey, don't bother him, you do it.
no political ads in it, right?
No.
No.
Michael, you've already figured out when this thing has to go to print?
Yes.
So it's got to be like the middle of November, it's got to be in print?
The post office needs about a 2-week period. I would usually.
Well, you need the print first.
Oh, the print, excuse me. The print, it takes about 3 weeks to print. So essentially, the last day in November, I need to be done and sent out the door to the printer.
Okay.
The printer would send it back to us, and all it takes is us to bring it in boxes to the post office, and we're done.
Excellent.
Mike, when do you need our comments? Next meeting, or when do you want our feedback?
Next meeting's fine.
Okay.
So Lisa's gonna have to put together the council meetings for the following year earlier than normal, which we
can push
usually
it
do
as
in
far as we
January.
need to.
Now, Lisa's gonna have to put that together in November.
Oh, usually November. Yeah.
So everything's gonna have to be moved
Are
up
we going
to
to
make.
be able to fold in the DPW calendar that we get every year into this calendar?
That would be,
So the
What's
borough,
your-
the borough of Pompton Lakes, and I apologize, I don't have their actual calendar, but they have a recycling insert, and it's the same style newsletter that our DPW puts out. I think that would be a great addition as well. So yes, we can certainly do that.
Because I mean, I would think that would be a cost savings then, because we would
Yeah.
have
Yes.
the ads paying for that.
excellent.
Probably
Thank
put on
you.
the back.
Thank you.
All right, amend fee ordinance recreation, who's speaking?
Mr. Coons?
Yeah, I can very briefly. We did a ordinance amendment for the fees at the end of last year for recreation. Subsequent to that, there's some additional budget development work that they did, and it revealed a need for an additional fee modification, this time in particular to the tackle and flag football programs. Included in your packet was an explanatory memo from Neil Melman Tackle fee would increase by $60, $255 for the program. The flag football fee increase would be $8, the total of $65 for the program. So they made the point that even with these increases, our fees would be less than our sister communities in Franklin Lakes and Wyckoff. So with that, I know Mike is here too, and you have the memo to refer to regarding that.
Does our rep chairman have anything to add on recreation fees?
What's the questions? Yeah, I think Rich pretty much covered it.
Okay, thank
And the
you.
last fee increase was in 2016, so it's been several years.
Okay, designation of the Round Pond River as the C1 waterway, our expert, Councilman Levy.
I don't know if I'm an expert.
Well,
As I mentioned the last meeting, I guess our last meeting, I attended a stakeholders meeting at New Jersey DEP in Trenton. They are redesignating some 212 waterways in New Jersey to what's called a C1 status. And what this means for the borough, for people who live along the river, who've got property located or part of their property located within 300 feet of the banks of the river, is your ability to do things in that area are going to be greatly reduced. Currently, the riparian zone for the river is about 100 feet. It's going to go out to 300 feet. So any types of new construction, even if you're not in a flood zone, are impacted by this. Anything that might disturb vegetation will be impacted. It's the state of New Jersey sort of correcting an error. They felt that the Ramapo River, among others, should have been a C1 waterway many years ago, and they're correcting that now. It's an opportunity to protect the river, protect the waterway.
In other words, if they want to put a tool shed up, they'd have to get a special permit?
You can't get a permit. It's a C1 waterway.
You can't put a tool shed up?
You can't. If you have an existing piece of property, there are some things that will allow you to do. The best thing to do is you can go on the New Jersey DEP website and you can look up what you want to do, but for the most part, you cannot construct within the C1 waterway repair. It's called the riparian zone, and that's the terminology that you'll see if you want to look up specifically what you can and can't do. And the riparian zone, basically, if they're identifying a 300-foot riparian zone, it's from the bank of the river 300 feet upland. So if you want to do something and you take a compass that's set for 300 feet on scale, draw a circle. If you hit the 300-foot mark, you can't do it.
I mean, I don't see any property, or most properties are not 300 feet.
No.
Long.
Absolutely wrong, because all the properties, for example, along Lakeview Terrace, all the properties in the Colony, all the properties on, what's the street Vane lives in? River. Those properties are all well within 300 feet of the river.
No, I'm saying it will envelop the whole property.
If the entire property is within 300 feet, it will envelop the entire property.
Wow.
But if you're existing, it doesn't matter. I live, my house is probably just about 300 feet from the river. So there's a portion of my property that's in the river. I won't be able to do anything new. For example, if my septic was in that area, I can certainly repair my septic. I can certainly upgrade my septic. Could I expand my house in that direction? No.
So that's an interesting question. Does that mean all these houses, people that in the houses within three, are all locked in so they can't expand their houses or do any additional construction?
Well, I mean, number one is they really can't do it right now anyway without making sure that they follow our floodplain management. So if your house is, if you're within the flood zone, for example, Oakland requires that you have what's called a 2-foot freeboard. So that means between the base flood elevation, which is that, if you heard of the 100-year flood mark, you have to be at least 2 feet, your bottom floor has to be 2 feet above that in order to do any construction. So if you wanted to do substantial modifications or substantial renovations, which I believe is any renovation in excess of 70% of the cost of the structure, you have to put the structure into complete compliance. So for example, you would have to, let's just say the base flood elevation was 205 and your first floor was at 203. Well, you want to do a substantial repair or substantial renovation, you would have to put your you have to elevate the house so that your first floor was at 207, so that you have that 2 foot of freeboard.
Well,
That's gonna affect a lot of our residents.
Well,
I mean, not horribly, but yeah, but I mean, people who've got properties along the river that wanna, they wanna build a house. There's an empty lot on my street, I know somebody's been trying to build, they're not gonna be able to do it, for example.
will this have
So
an
the
effect?
sale of properties
Well, yeah.
along the river is gonna be difficult.
No, again, the house is existing, it shouldn't be. You won't be able to modify the house.
Will this have an effect, any effect on the property values of the houses in the area?
I don't think it would. I mean, again, a lot of the houses, down on Lakeview Terrace, on River, in the Colony, any of the areas where the flood zone over on Roosevelt Boulevard, those houses are all in the flood zone anyway. So they've got those restrictions.
So we don't have any say in whether this is gonna be designated as
Well,
C1.
actually, not true. I believe on April 8th,
Yeah, it's actually in the documents that were provided.
April 8th, there is going to be a hearing in Trenton, and certainly the public can go. And, ask questions, give your opinion.
I mean, should we be notifying the
That's what
the
we're doing.
people?
Well, that's what I'm doing right now.
Well, yeah,
Talking to the camera.
if they listen to not everybody listens.
Well, yeah, but I'm speaking, so, I mean, I would hope that they're listening.
If I may, ma'am.
Please, our attorney would like to add
All
something.
right, so there is a public hearing on April 8th. Also, this is regulation, so it's open to a public comment period for 60 days. I believe this was issued on March 4th, so the 60 days would take you to April. It does not encompass all of Oakland, but a good part of Oakland. The river is Patriots Way Bridge to Little Pond Brook, and it's all unnamed tributaries. It's 5.5 miles. As Councilman Levy identified, there is already some environmental impact because it's an FW2, it's in the floodway already, so that may have impact on the development. It also may have an impact on existing sewer treatment plants that are licensed Oakwood and Chapel Hill because of where they drain to. So that's basically where it's at. The comment period, people can provide written comments. Within the meeting packet was various information regarding the regulations, where to obtain them, how to comment, and when the public hearing is.
I mean, we know about it,
Should
but
we
how do
put
we
this in the,
inform
can we
our
put this
residents?
in the newsletter? Wait a minute, can we put this in the newsletter?
I think we could certainly be put in the newsletter, but it's timely. Could we have this sent out on Facebook and tweeted out for residents so they can?
We can send out a notice, we can also link, we can put the DEP slideshow that was there, and the notice that we received, we can put that on the website, we can send out a Facebook message linking back to that. Sure.
I have a question.
Yes.
Anybody that owns a home within a 300-foot buffer right now and would like to improve their home, would they be precluded from improving their home? Or would they need a special, do they have to apply or apply for the modifications to the house?
I believe if they are in the flood zone, I believe that takes precedent, number one. They would have to, and I think it depends, it's about vegetation. It's about disturbing existing vegetation. John, maybe you can answer better than I can?
As usual, the response is, it depends. So the DEP has mechanisms for homeowners to do small items of work, small expansions to their house within riparian zones through the permit by rule. And there is a listing of the various things that you could do. Add perhaps, 100 square feet to your house, put in a tool shed. Put in a driveway. There are very specific things that homeowners can do, but they have limitations to all of these things, and they're on the DEP website. So hopefully that answers your question, but that doesn't address anything to do with floodway, floodplain, and items of that sort. That has a different set of criteria that you have to follow.
Right. Just to give alleviate some of the pressure on the people that there are avenues of approach to doing something to make your house better.
Listen, it's not a regulation that's being put in place to drive houses, drive people away from the river. If you're there, if the structure is there, it's there, and the DEP understands it.
Your grandfather.
Yes.
Question, will this have any impact on people? Do they have to put special septic systems in if there's fails or anything like this moving forward? Will there be added cost?
John, I think that's a you question. I mean, I know you can repair a septic. I think putting a new one in becomes.
Well, the purpose of the C1 waterway is that the waterway feeds a public drinking supply. So that's the reason why they're designated as C1, and that's why they have a 300-foot buffer, because these are areas that serve the public. So I would venture to say that a failing septic system would need to be corrected as quickly as possible. And that is something that you would be allowed to do, because obviously a failing septic system.
To not do it makes it worse.
Right, would affect the public water supply.
What you can't do is take a blank piece of property, even if you put up a house, let's say the property's 800 feet deep. You put a house up 600 feet away from the riparian zone. I think I don't believe they're gonna allow you to put a new septic system in that could potentially impact the waterway.
Okay. So I have a question, I guess, for Lou or John. So if this is to protect the water itself because it leads to a drinking source, is anybody going to call the state and ask them for the drains over top of 287 that leak diesel fuel and oil into the river every day, how that's permitted and permissible? And as a C1 waterway, I would believe the state should have to do something about that, because it happens.
And they drove, we had them drive, and so they saw it firsthand.
John, I'm gonna ask you to correct me, because I always get this wrong, but I believe it's called non-single point source pollution, or is it called single point source pollution? What comes off of the highway and stuff?
Well, getting back to Councilman Nass's
Well, no,
question.
the reason I'm asking is what DEP was actually down testing the river, right? About a month ago.
I mean, it
They
would
were testing waterways,
make common
water
sense
quality.
to question the DOT under this C1
Oh, no, it's
condition.
not their jurisdiction.
Well, so
went through that already.
I can understand, right, they were doing testing, that's fine, but that was at that time. But let's take an incident that we've had numerous incidents in that area, where we've had rolled over tank trucks, we've had regular tractor trailers crashing, and gallons and gallons and gallons that go in the storm drain that goes whoop, right to the river. And now here we are throwing booms downstream in the river to try to catch the debris that went down. So we personally think from day one that's a disgrace that's been permitted, but now maybe this will add to stopping it.
We could certainly correspond with the DOT with this new development, that it will be a C1 waterway. But with past experience with the DOT, we can only be hopeful.
Well, then you can't enforce it, in my opinion, you can't enforce it on some Florida homeowner either. The state flexing their muscles, not.
Well,
Agreed.
One other question. Will this have any impact on the borough as far as our stormwater management going into the river at times?
John, that's definitely a you question.
The quick answer is no.
Okay.
That's grandfathered in as well.
Okay, so there should be no impact on the borough then as well?
No impact on the borough.
Because, John, the requirements, whether a community is a Tier 1 or a Tier 2, under the stormwater management permit, takes C1 waterways into account in that designation, does it not?
Take C1 waterways in account.
In terms of whether or not you get designated a Tier 1 or a Tier 2 community for what you would need to adhere to.
I believe the Tier 1 and Tier 2 is only based on population size.
Okay.
There are not too many, I get the two mixed up. Most in New Jersey are a certain tier, and that's based on population size. That has really nothing to do with the classification of the waterways that flow through the municipalities. But in answer to your question, no, this has to do with the creation of impervious areas within the 300-foot buffer.
Okay.
Our recreation facility might be infected. There might be some borough properties that are infected that, you know, we couldn't introduce new impervious areas within this 300 feet. So that would be something that would directly affect the borough.
Okay. Thank you.
Anything else? Okay, so now we have new business. I have two things to bring up. To all the people who live on Roosevelt and Truman, the houses are coming down. As notices will be going out, written notices, and then we will do a reverse 911 to make sure all residents within that area are aware that those houses are coming down, and that's along the river, and that will be passive recreation. So that's very exciting news. And secondly, I'm sorry it's not open yet to the public. Later you can talk, okay? The other thing is that I had talked about scholarships to applications from the League of Municipalities. Applications were in each of the high schools. 4 applications came in for a possible scholarship. Because a lot of the children are known to the council people and myself, it was decided that it would not be fair if we were on the committee. So we have 2 employees from the borough who do not live in Oakland who will decide and go through all the applications and pick an applicant who we will submit to the league for consideration for the final scholarship. And with that, does anybody else have new business? If not, old business? Council committee reports, where should we start?
I
Yes.
just have one piece of old
Off business?
Old business.
Old business.
To the residents on Sioux Avenue and over on Franklin who've been plagued by Allerman Brook and Pond Brook destroying your properties. The borough is still working with the DEP, with Holly Schapizzi's office. The mayor has helped us get the governor's office involved to try and get the New Jersey DOT to come and fix the damage that they've been doing with their drainage system from 287.
That's twice we talked about that.
Was it on your computer?
Yes, and currently, the New Jersey DOT claims that, well, Route 287 is not their jurisdiction. And the exempt properties that the New Jersey DOT has along exit 58 are also not their jurisdiction. But we are still working with them to try and get either some monies or some repairs so that we can get that drainage area repaired and get those properties that are behind Sioux. I mean, whether or not the DOT put the gabion baskets in Allerman Brook behind Sioux seems to be a little bit up in the air. But there is no doubt by anyone that the increased flow rates from 287 are what are causing those properties to erode away in the back. So we are trying to come up with some money to do a fix, and hopefully we will do better.
Is that on your computer? Okay, so committee reports. I'm trying to rotate around. Does anybody want to start?
I'll start, so I'm
Okay.
gonna be quick. Public safety, I wait till the last meeting of the month, so I have nothing with that. Municipal Alliance meeting was rescheduled, so I have nothing with that. And Great Oak Park, the lawn should be started towards the end of March, doing the, getting the ground ready, and then seeding and putting the hay down, hopefully by early April, and then let the grass grow as it grows. The roots for River Grant, I believe the plants are supposed to arrive in early May. And we had the environmental committee at our last park committee meeting, and Peter Keekott and a couple of his people offered a lot of very positive suggestions for the park, for different plantings and things like that. So it was, that was good of Peter to do, so.
And now he's a member.
And now he's a member. And that's my report.
Thank you, it was quick. Yes, Councilman Levy.
Shade Tree, unfortunately, I was unable to attend this week, or last week, so I did not go to that. The Flood Commission met on Monday. We'll be meeting again second Monday of next month at the Borough Hall Conference Room at 7:30. Shade Tree will meet first Monday of next month, same place. And I guess on downtown development, we are going to be starting to look at a redo of our master plan. This is with the advent of the sewers coming in, hopefully in the next 5 or 6 years, so that we will be able to start upgrading our downtown. To that end, we've spoken with the Chamber of Commerce. What's it called again?
Community of Commerce.
Thanks, them. We've spoken with the Community of Commerce to ask them, some of their members, to give some input on, what they might want the town to look like, what kind of downtown do we want to have. And if anybody has some thoughts, you're more than welcome. Please email me at my borough email. We'd love to, we want to take everybody's ideas and give them to the planners so that we can come up with a plan that, that we're all going to be proud of. Do we want a downtown that's got a nightlife, that's going to invite people out of the area in, what kind of look we want to have. So I would ask anybody who has any plans to, certainly get in touch with me.
Just as to take a word from your announcement, sewers. We really haven't been talking about it, but for the past 8 years, we've been working on it. And yes, I really believe, in spite of what some people are saying, I really believe sewers are coming, and we're working hard on it. So Councilman Levy is absolutely correct. The downtown, working around it, and they're coming. Yes, Councilman.
Oh, yes.
That's you.
Thank you, Mayor.
Right, you went to get the paper. You didn't have it on your computer.
Correct.
You didn't scan it in.
I did not scan it in. You're absolutely right. As Councilman Knapp mentioned, the Environmental Commission got a $4,000 plus grant for Roots for River. They're going to be planting seedlings, tree seedlings, so that the C1 stream running through there has shade for the fish, in order for the fish to live there. They also, as Councilman Knapp mentioned, the Environmental Commission, Peter Kika, our member, did an extensive review of all the plantings for the dog park. There were quite a few suggestions because there are some plants that are toxic to dogs. So they did a rather extensive review of the plan. The Environmental Commission, as Rich, as I asked you before, would like some guidance on rules for the commission. I agree. Somebody made a suggestion, one of the new members, and I hate to give Michael another project to work on, but when a new member is appointed to a board, they really don't know, what their mission is, what the rules are. Do we follow Robert's rules for all of our meetings? What does the sunshine law mean? Because as a member, they become responsible to do that. So, Rich, again, I don't know when you can do that, so that they know what to do, what they can't do, what the parameters are.
In the past, the focus has been working with the chair people so that they understand their responsibilities, both in terms of running a meeting and and/or insurance requirements, purchasing, budgeting, and all of those things. We can kind of put it on the to-do list to work up sort of a welcome packet for that.
Yeah.
And perhaps some one-on-one with the Environmental Commission here would be beneficial as well.
Well, like we also have an ordinance that says if you miss more than 3 meetings, you could be removed from your position.
Isn't it unexcused?
Unexcused.
Yeah, it's 4 meetings in a certain period of time.
So, they need to know that too. I mean, as you said, the chairperson is told that, but whether or not it gets disseminated to all the members is another question. So if we could get that, I know you have a lot of more important things to do, but...
It's something I'd like to talk to you about more, and again, I think in the particular case of the Environmental Commission, probably a face-to-face would be even more beneficial at this point.
I was chairman of the Flood Commission for 14 years. Nobody gave me any kind of rules and stuff like that.
You set the rules, excuse me.
Oh, right.
If I recall going to those meetings.
But you did get parting gifts.
The Board of Health... I will be meeting with the Board of Health next week.
Yes.
One very, very important thing, as the mayor pointed out to all 12,000 residents that I didn't download this on my computer, but everybody got this in the mail. This is extremely, extremely important to don't go to the back page, because it gives you all the dates for household hazardous waste collection. So if you have old gasoline, old herbicides, old pesticides, old paint, this is your opportunity to bring it and have it safely disposed of. The dates, real quick, in Mawa at Camp Gore, Saturday, May 11th, July 20th, and September 14th from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. And they're very efficient there. You're in and out in a matter of minutes. So don't forget, please, look at the back of the newsletter. It gives you all the dates. It's extremely important. You know, some people, believe it or not, they throw their waste down a storm sewer, which, as we were saying before, goes to the Ramapo River. So please pay attention to this. It's extremely important. There are also dates in here for the shredding. Saturday, May 11th, 2019, 9 a.m. to 11 at Borough Hall. So if you have paper documents you want shredded, they shred it right in front of you. You can stand there and watch them shred it.
And you know, because I just shred some papers from my office, and it was just building up, it's very expensive to go to a commercial shredder.
Yeah, they charge you by the weight.
Yes, so really, save your papers and shred it.
And I don't think you even have to remove the staples.
No, I don't think so. In the past, we didn't have to do that.
They throw the whole box.
File
all at
boxes from
once.
me.
Yeah.
Hey, I want to add one thing that you said about waste and yard waste and stuff. With this new C1 waterway designation, dumping things in the river is going to be a more serious offense. We as a borough are going to have to step up our policing of this.
Okay.
Because we have incidences where people have throw stuff in, it kills the banks, degrades the waterway.
Oh, you should see the amount of debris that we remove when we clean up, when Roy Balberger does the cleanup.
Just Potash Lake alone.
Yeah.
That cleanup is something.
That's it for me, Mary. Thank you very much.
Oh, thank you. Okay. Who wants to go here?
I'll take it.
Okay.
Just to pick up on where Pat left off, we've come a long way in the last 50, 60 years. Somebody sent me an automobile brochure when you bought a car in 1948. It gave you instructions on how to dig a hole, fill it with rocks, and put your used motor oil into the hole so it goes across all the rocks and penetrates evenly into the ground.
Oh.
I have to bring it to the next meeting. Anyway, senior report, programs continue to be held at the lower level of the Oakland Library. Calendars are available online or at the library. Bingo is scheduled for Thursday, March 21st at 1 p.m. In addition to bingo, there will be a presentation of bagels and dizziness with probable causes. This will be a presentation by Pro Staff Physical Therapy of Oakland. Bagels and coffee will be provided by the Pro Staff PT. Limited space is still available for the upcoming trip to Resorts Casino in Monticello on April the 4th. Residents can sign up with Ariel at the lower level of the library. For seniors in need of tax preparation, Bergen County is offering help by appointment at the Senior Center in Midland Park. Those interested can call 201-445-5690 to schedule an appointment. There's an instructional canasta class given by Sue, scheduled for Friday, March 15th from 1 to 3 p.m. All those interested are asked to sign up so there will be proper head count and supplies available. The Senior Center is looking for volunteers for a new program called Shovels for Seniors. Although it's late in the season now, we're asking for community volunteers to help shoveling driveways, walkways, and sidewalks of the seniors in town so they can safely leave their homes. Residents' names will be added to a volunteer list, and Ariel will connect them with seniors in need of assistance in their area of town. While there may not be any more snow during the present season, their contact information will remain on the list for next winter. And the Senior Center now has an email list. Monthly updates and important communication will be sent via email to those on the list. For any resident interested in joining the email list, please reach out to Ariel in person, via phone, or via email at seniors@oakland-nj.org to be added to the list. DPW report. The borough's annual street sweeping program is scheduled to begin on or about March 18th, weather permitting. Our sweeping contractor will begin sweeping all local school routes, then continue into our downtown area. The school routes and the downtown area will continue to be swept monthly for the remainder of the year, and all secondary residential streets can expect to have their initial cleaning completed before the end of April. On or about Monday, March 25th, our DPW employees will begin water main leak detection and storm drain inspections on all streets scheduled to be resurfaced. All DPW employees will be carrying the Borough Oakland ID badges and will not need access to any private property. Since our last council meeting on February 26th, the DPW has filled another 313 potholes throughout the borough. We continue to ask residents to report potholes by filling out a service request on the borough website or by calling the DPW service building directly at 201-337-8103. And a special message for residents. You might see a truck in town with what looks to be a drilling mechanism on it. That is Weston Solutions, and is a water quality company that residents will see in our with they're using drilling apparatus, and they were hired by the DEP. Has nothing to do with Oakland. NJDEP has contracted this company to take samples of water throughout the state and report their samples back to state officials. Weston Solution employees are in no way connected to the Oakland Water Department, and any questions about this issue, this issue or this service that's being provided for the state should be directed to the New Jersey DEP. I just want to give a shout out. We received a notice that Bergen County Utilities Authority has let us know through an email to Mike that we'd be reimbursed up to $3,000 because we completed the Bergen County Utilities Authority Recycling 219 Recycling Enhancement Grant Program. And I have to give a shout out to Eugene McMahon, who takes care of that program. And just to show you that our guys have been working around the clock, last night we had a water main break on Jerome Avenue past midnight, and the police department notified us of the condition at 12 a.m. and the DP were able to isolate the leak shortly after. 3 homes had reduced pressure until about 4 a.m. and full pressure was restored at that time. So thanks, guys, for coming out when you should be sleeping. It's what we do. We're in Oakland. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Councilman?
Thank you, Mayor. Just have a very brief report. OC is still looking for volunteers for both the TV committee and the commission. If you want to be part of the TV committee, that's really going out with the camera, recording the events, parades, and sporting events. That's what you're interested in doing. If you're interested, please make contact at occ@oakland-nj.org. That's occ@oakland-nj.org. Also, if you have content, the OCC is no longer taking videotapes, and it must be on DVD. So if you have something you want to put on public access, make sure you have submitted by a DVD. And they're also looking at ways of being able to submit the content electronically, and it's currently a work in progress. The next OCC meeting is May 6th at 7:30 p.m. That's May 6th at 7:30 p.m. here at Council Chambers. And also, we have a water sewer meeting Friday, 2/15, 11 a.m. at Borough Hall. That's all I have, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman?
Yes, so finance, we're going over the budget, and we have some meetings scheduled, right to...
Yeah, the Saturday the 23rd.
Yeah.
At 8 a.m.
What's that?
8 a.m.
At 8 a.m.
Here.
Proposed introduction, that's scheduled for the meeting on the 27th, as well as the rec budget presentation, and then perhaps a follow-up meeting depending on where the discussions go.
And then, public events, I was unable to attend the meeting last night, but, my kids both won their games, so.
Oh, well, that's good.
But they will, we're having the Easter egg hunt on, Saturday, the 13th, behind the library, starting at 9:30. There'll be events, there's gonna be a train ride going around, there's gonna be a bouncy house there, different, some food, and then at 10 o'clock is the actual egg hunt behind the library. And the rain date is on the Sunday after,
Can adults go on the train?
yes,
Oh.
yeah, no?
It's a train for kids.
Oh, well,
I thought it was, yeah, it's just for kids, I thought that you could sit with your kid.
Oh, what if you have a little
But
little
I
one?
don't know.
I don't know what the rules are.
Yeah, okay. It's a large train, it's not, yeah, but,
Is it coming in on the tracks?
no.
Okay, just wanna make sure it's
On
not
wheels.
large.
I assume it's on wheels.
It's on wheels.
But it does go choo-choo, yes?
I'm sure it goes
You are
choo-choo.
the conductor.
I want to be on the train. I want to drive the train.
It is for
I'll
children.
see what I can do. I'll see what I can do for you.
Okay.
That's
Hey,
it.
wait, what
Thank
about my
you.
meeting with the school board?
Without it.
I made a phone, I made a
Phone call.
phone call, and, I'm gonna send an email to you, me, and,
You're going to send yourself an email?
yes, and, superintendent, and we'll set up a date.
So what you're telling me is you're going to have your people call my people?
Yes, that's what's
Got it.
gonna happen.
I don't think
yes.
you're doing lunch.
Yeah. Thank
Does it
you.
look like I missed lunch?
Okay, with that, a motion to open to the public.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion to close.
So
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Bills to be paid.
Bills to be paid, $716,049.11. So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call.
Councilman Bialy.
Yes.
Councilman Knapp.
Yes.
Councilman Kamala.
Yes.
Councilman Levy.
Yes.
Councilman Pinageli.
Yes.
Councilman Calamini.
Yes.
And as you, just to repeat, so you'll remember, we're having our budget meeting here on Saturday. That's Saturday, March 23rd at 8 a.m. At this time, motion to close.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Next meeting of the mayor and council will be right here, March 27th.